You know, there's something I've been thinking about lately. Have you ever finished a phone call with someone, maybe a family member, an old friend, or even a neighbor, and instead of feeling uplifted, you just feel drained? Like your energy's been siphoned right out of you? Pauses, nodding knowingly. Oh, I've been there too. And here's the thing. When you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, every moment of peace matters. You've worked hard, raised families, built careers, and now, isn't it time to finally savor the calm you've earned? But sometimes, that calm gets hijacked by relationships that no longer serve us. The ones that leave us feeling smaller, heavier, or even resentful. And here's what I've learned. Toxic relationships don't retire with age. If anything, they can become louder when life gets quieter. So today, let's talk about how to say goodbye to those draining connections and say hello to a life filled with peace, joy, and the kind of relationships that truly lift you up. Now, I'm not talking about cutting people out of your life recklessly. This isn't about burning bridges or holding grudges. It's about honoring yourself, your time, your energy, your peace, in a way that maybe you haven't before. And I promise, it's simpler than you think. Let's walk through this together, step by gentle step. Step 1. Recognize what's really draining you. Let's start here. Not every difficult relationship is toxic. We all have ups and downs with the people we care about. But there's a difference between a loved one having a bad day and someone who consistently leaves you feeling diminished. So how do you spot the difference? Think about the last time you spent time with this person. Did you feel criticized, dismissed, or like you had to shrink parts of yourself to keep the peace? Maybe it's a sibling who always brings up old grudges, a friend who monopolizes conversations with negativity, or even an adult child who takes more than they give. Toxic relationships often feel one-sided, like you're pouring energy into a cup that's got holes in the bottom. Here's a little exercise. Grab a notebook and jot down how you feel after interacting with someone. Do you feel lighter, inspired, or do you feel anxious, guilty, or like you've just run an emotional marathon? Our bodies don't lie. If your shoulders tense up when their name pops up on your phone, that's a clue worth listening to. Step 2. Set boundaries, like the kind, strong person you are. Once you've identified which relationships are weighing on you, the next step is to set boundaries. Now I know, that word can sound intimidating. We're from a generation that was taught to be polite, to endure, to keep the peace. But here's the truth. Boundaries aren't about being harsh. They're about being clear. They're saying, I'm at it too. Let me tell you about my neighbor, Margaret. She had a friend who'd drop by unannounced every afternoon, staying for hours to vent about her problems. Margaret felt trapped. She didn't want to be rude, but these visits left her exhausted. So one day, she gently said, I love our chats, but I need my afternoons to rest. Let's plan a time that works for both of us. Was it awkward? A little. But guess what? Her friend adjusted, and their time together became more meaningful because Margaret wasn't silently resenting it. Boundaries can be as simple as, I'm not available to talk about that topic right now. I need to step back from helping with this project. I trust you'll handle it. Let's agree not to bring up the past when we visit. You don't need to explain, defend, or justify. Just state your need kindly and firmly. And if the other person reacts poorly, that's not a reflection of your worth. It's a sign that the relationship may need more space to grow, or to gently let go. Now, I won't sugarcoat it. This step takes courage. You might worry about hurting someone's feelings or facing pushback. But remember, you've spent decades caring for others. This is your time to care for you. And the people who truly love you will respect that. Now imagine this. You've started recognizing which relationships drain you, and you've begun setting those healthy boundaries. Doesn't that already feel a little lighter? Like you're clearing out emotional clutter to make room for what truly nourishes you. But here's where the magic happens, because once you've created that space, you get to fill it with connections that bring out the best in you. The ones where laughter comes easy, where you feel seen and valued, where your peace isn't up for negotiation. And that's exactly where we're headed next. So here you are. You've started recognizing which relationships drain your spirit, and you've begun setting those kind but firm boundaries. Now, let's talk about the best part. Filling your life with the people and activities that make your heart feel full. Because here's the secret. Letting go of what doesn't serve you isn't just about saying no. It's about making space for a resounding yes. Step 3. Cultivate joyful connections on your terms. You know, I have a friend named Carl, a retired teacher in his late 60s, who told me something that stuck with me. After years of bending over backward for a cousin who only ever called to complain, Carl finally said, "Enough." He stopped answering those draining calls and instead signed up for a woodworking class at his local community center. And guess what happened? He didn't just learn to build birdhouses. He built friendships with folks who share his love for creating something with their hands. Now, every Tuesday, they meet to sand, stain, and swap stories. Carl says it's the highlight of his week. That's the beauty of this third step. It's not just about removing the negative. It's about inviting in the positive. And this is where you get to be intentional. Think about it. What makes your soul light up? Is it gardening, painting, volunteering at the library, or maybe just sharing quiet mornings with a friend who gets you? Let's break this down. First, reflect on the relationships that already feel good. Maybe it's your granddaughter who sends you funny memes, your walking buddy who never fails to make you laugh, or the neighbor who brings you tomatoes from their garden. These are your keepers, the ones who remind you that connection should feel like a gift, not a chore. Nurture these. Schedule that coffee date. Send that thinking of you text. Lean into the easy, joyful moments. But what if your circle feels small these days? Maybe you've lost touch with old friends, or you're not sure where to meet new ones. Let me reassure you, it's never too late to find your people. Start small. Join a club that aligns with your interests, book clubs, gardening groups, even online forums for classic movie buffs. Places like senior centers, places of worship, or local libraries are gold mines for activities where you can meet folks who share your passions. And don't underestimate the power of giving. Volunteering, whether at a food bank, an animal shelter, or a community theater, connects you with people who care about the same things you do. Helping others not only fills your cup, it introduces you to folks who will likely want to fill it back. Now, I'll let you in on a little truth. Meaningful connections don't always have to be lifelong or deep. Maybe it's the barista who remembers your order, the mail carrier who waves from the driveway, or the fellow birdwatcher you bump into at the park. These micro moments of connection add up. They remind you that you're part of a community, that you belong. But here's what I don't want you to do. Pressure yourself to be social all the time. This isn't about collecting friends like stamps. It's about quality, not quantity. If you're someone who thrives in quiet, one-on-one conversations, honor that. If you love the energy of a group, lean into it. This is your chapter. You get to write the rules. And if you're thinking, but what if I'm lonely? What if I let go of these old relationships and end up with nothing? I hear you. Change is scary, especially when it involves people who've been in your life for decades. But ask yourself, is it lonelier to stay in a relationship that leaves you feeling empty, or to create space for something new and beautiful to grow? Let me leave you with this. Years ago, I planted a rose bush in my backyard. For the longest time, I held onto a few wilted blooms, afraid to prune them. But when I finally did, new buds sprang up, healthier, brighter, more vibrant than before. Relationships are like that garden. Sometimes you need to trim back what's dying to make room for what's waiting to bloom. So take a chance. Send that email to the hiking group. Invite a new acquaintance out for lunch. Reconnect with an old friend who always made you feel like sunshine. You deserve relationships that reflect the wonderful person you are, full of wisdom, warmth, and worth. And just think, by choosing peace, you're not only honoring yourself, you're giving others permission to do the same. Because the world needs more people who know their value and who aren't afraid to live like it. You know, there's a saying I've always loved. The longer I live, the more beautiful life becomes. And isn't that the truth? After 65, you've earned the right to savor that beauty, to wake up each morning feeling lighter, freer, and truly at peace. But here's what I want you to remember. This journey isn't just about letting go. It's about stepping into a life where every relationship, every moment, reflects the love and respect you deserve. Let's take a breath and look at how far you've come. You've learned to recognize which relationships drain your spirit, set boundaries with kindness and strength, and begun filling your life with connections that feel like sunshine. Now, let's talk about how to protect that peace and let it grow. The ripple effect of choosing yourself. I want to tell you about my Aunt Gloria. For years, she tolerated a friend who'd subtly put her down, comments about her weight, her hobbies, even her laugh. But after turning 70, Gloria decided enough was enough. She stopped returning those calls and instead joined a choir. Fast forward 6 months. Not only does she glow when she talks about her new friends, but her confidence has inspired her daughter to leave a job that was crushing her spirit. Gloria said to me, "I didn't just change my life, I changed hers too." That's the power of honoring yourself. When you choose peace, you give others permission to do the same. Your courage becomes a quiet revolution, one that says, we don't have to settle for less than we're worth. When doubt creeps in, now, you might still have moments where guilt whispers in your ear. Should I have tried harder? What if they're upset? Let me remind you, you didn't come this far to question your right to happiness. It's natural to mourn relationships that once mattered, even if they no longer serve you. But grief isn't a sign you've made a mistake. It's proof you care deeply. If you're feeling lonely, that's okay too. Loneliness isn't failure, it's a signal. It's your heart saying, let's try something new. Maybe that's reaching out to an old friend you've lost touch with, adopting a pet, or even finding joy in your own company. After all, the most important relationship you'll ever nurture is the one with yourself, your peaceful living toolkit. Let's keep this simple. Every morning, ask yourself, what will feed my soul today? Maybe it's a walk in the park, a phone call with someone who makes you laugh, or simply saying no to a request that would leave you drained. Small choices add up. They're like drops of water filling a bucket. Soon enough, you'll overflow with calm. And on days when it feels hard, picture yourself as that sturdy oak tree in your backyard. Storms may come, but your roots run deep. You bend, but you don't break. You've weathered decades of life's challenges. This is just another season. A note to your younger self. If you could go back 20 years, what would you say to the person you were then? I'd bet it's something like, you don't have to people please your way to being loved. Or maybe, your time is precious. Don't waste it on those who don't see your light. Well, guess what? Your future self is saying those same words to you right now. So let's make a promise today. However many years are ahead, they'll be filled with moments that take your breath away, not take your energy away. Moments where you feel truly seen. Moments where peace isn't just a wish, it's your reality. Over to you. I'd love to hear your stories. Have you set a boundary that changed your life? Found a new passion or friend that brought you joy? Share it in the comments below. Let's create a community where we lift each other up, because wisdom grows best when it's shared. And if this video resonated with you, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's a small gesture, but it helps spread these messages to others who might need them. Together, we can remind the world that life after 65 isn't about slowing down. It's about rising into the fullness of who you've always been. Here's to your next chapter. May it be your most peaceful, joyful, and vibrant yet. Thank you for letting me be part of your journey. Now go out there and grow, my friend.